everybody, how we doing? Welcome to the roundup. Another exciting week and another good week for us too.
Aye, mate. Aye. Listen, most important thing is it's been a good week in the West. There's been a lot of good games and big results to talk about and lots of talking points, mate. So it makes this show even more exciting, PG. And I've had a couple of wee string bees just here.
But I don't think we're going to get a repeat of
No,
it was the
listen,
funniest episode we're ever going to have.
couldn't be any worse than that episode. And Bailey Hamlin, Bailey Hamlin will be delighted.
Oh, he'll be sitting there with his Kleenex watching.
Aye, mate. So,
Right.
oh, mate.
So before we start, as always, big shout out to our sponsor, VSN Top Gear. If anybody's looking for a new strip, any committee members watching or anything, get there and see the guys there.
Yes, definitely.
Premier League, Arthurlie and Hurlford abandoned. Beith 1, Talbot 0, Clydebank 5, Cumnock 2, Darvel 3, Benburb 2, Pollock 4, Largs 2, St Cadoc's 4, Glenafton 0, Troon 2, Rob Roy 2. Before we start, best wishes to your man at Hurlford there, double leg break apparently. Fisher, that's it, my name completely escaped me there. Aye, Ross, we hope you're, if you're watching, we hope you're going to have a speedy recovery, mate. That sounds like a badging, so best of luck to you.
Horrible to hear, mate, and especially having to go straight in for an operation that night. And unfortunately, we've been hearing a lot about wee things like that. So football and results go right out the window. Do you know what I mean? That's somebody's health and well-being, and we wish you a speedy recovery, mate.
Yep. We'll start with yourselves, Dak, as always. 4-2-1 against Largs. We spoke about it just there before we come on. We speak really highly of Largs, a really good side. I was looking at the results yesterday coming in, and I thought that was a really big one for you.
Aye, listen, it's a good result, really good result. We had a couple of injuries and a couple of boys kind of unavailable through the week, goalie injured and stuff. And to be honest with you, the boys that came in were different class. Jordan Longmuir came in, and listen, he's no a bad replacement. Do you know what I mean? He's been the number one there for nearly 9 years. Well, 9 years, he is 10 years, getting to 10 years now. So, and a couple of other wee changes as well. And the boys that came in were different class. And Largs are a good side. It was a right good result for us. PG, it was 1-0 half time. Scrappy affair. Griggsy getting half the mark with his goal, and then second half, Jordan Allen's get sent off, and I think the referees got it right, in my opinion, to be honest with you. I think Jordan was a bit over keen for the tackles. You know what I mean? He was fully committed, but he was just maybe a wee bit heavy in that respect. So I think the referee got that right. But we were the character and the resilience was shown, and the spirit and the work rate we shown when we went down to 10 men was different class, and it was really good to see, mate, because we showed a different wee part. You know what I mean? We soaked up a bit of pressure, and we were able to go and score 3 goals when we had 10 men, and some of the goals were outstanding, mate. You've seen 40s one.
40s was ridiculous, man. Ridiculous goal.
I'm shouting at Griggsy to hit it. Honestly, see, if you were there when the ball falls to Griggsy and he's popped into 40, and I'm like, why is he not hit that? And 40 being 40, he can just do that moment of magic, and he's been like a different player since he's came back pre-season. He's really worked hard at his fitness. He's looking as sharp as ever, and he's finding the back of the net, and he's on a really good run of form. But to be fair, all the goals were good. Griggsy's was good. Daz Christie scored a cracker. Big Gowser scored a great goal. But no, we showed different qualities, mate, which was pleasing yesterday, especially when we had to deal with a penalty that kind of gave them a lifeline. It was worse than soft, not mean, but that's all I'll say on that.
I'm always happy when you can get a win. Makes it easier for this, and I'm always pleased for yourself and Maxie. But I do like a wee bit of contention like that. I think we've had over 40,000 views on Twitter on that penalty decision.
Is it? Well,
he's got over 4,000 views on TikTok for his goal. It's been a good day for PG.
I've said now, mate, I'm not going to say it on my personal account, so if you put it on, you know it's came for you,
it's come from me. I saw it yesterday and I thought that has to go on.
That's a very harsh decision, but see, at the end of the day, didn't change the result in any way, and we got a great 3 points, and again, it's another good 3 points. We'll not get ahead of ourselves, but it was really good to see that other side of the boys yesterday. And they really had to dig deep because Largs are a good side. They worked like anything for Arnie, and they've got some good players. Will Schul's a threat all the time. The boy Adams, I thought, was really good, led the line really well. Boy Falls in the middle of the park's a good player in that as well. And listen, there was a boy Lapsley and all got a bad injury. Looked like as if it was his knee. And I wish him a speedy recovery for Largs. But listen, we're delighted for getting the 3 points. But same again, no get carried away, and that's what is another 3 points, and then you just move on.
Definitely. Top of the table, Beith beating the Talbot 1-0.
Yeah.
We're in a kind of strange position just now where Beith have been unbelievable this season. That's 5 wins from 5, scored 14, conceded 2, a point clear with 2 games in hand on everybody about them. On the flip side, Talbot, who in our lifetime have been quite considerably the best junior team, arguably Tucker's the best junior manager ever. They've only got 1 win out of 7, sitting with 4 points and in the relegation zone, something that we wouldn't have seen. Again, they're a team who they've only lost 4 goals. Sorry, they've only lost 7 goals in 7 games, and they're still sitting in the relegation zone. But Beith just seem to be really ticking away nicely.
Aye, I think it kind of shows where maybe the issue is. You know what I mean? It's and it's the hardest
4
thing
goals
to
are
get.
scored.
Aye, it's the hardest thing to get is goals, mate, and scoring goals, because they've got a much better defensive record than what we've got. But in the same, we've got one of the worst defensive records, I think. But the good thing for us is we're scoring goals, and I think that's the thing with Talbot. The new, they're just kind of struggling to find that wee spark in the final third and getting goals. And as I keep saying, I'm no doubt it's going to come. But on Beith, on the other hand, really, really flying, mate. They are so solid. They're a solid unit. They do not concede goals, and that's why they win games of football, because you've always got a chance of scoring a goal with the firepower they've got. But first and foremost, their back 5 with their goalie and their back 4 very rarely changes, and it's always keep loads of clean sheets. You've got obviously Danny and Scott Ruff at centre half. You've always got McGlinchey playing at right back, Owen Stott in goal, and then left back you've got Steg and stuff like that too. And I think that it doesn't change very often. And
I think you made a good point there. See the fact that you have that back 5 where obviously Steg's a bit older now and comes in and out, but your other 4, they're always there.
Mate.
McGlinchey's been there for years, scores a lot of goals, really important player. Scott Ruff and Danny, both pretty young men in terms of defenders, both really good players. Owen in goals, again, doesn't lose many goals. That's a steady unit they've got.
They've got an understanding, PG, do you know what I mean? They've went and won a league together last season, and I think that Danny and Ruff have really had it off at centre half. I think they're a good mix and rate them very highly. And Connor in that respect as well. He's a good player, a great player, and he's comfortable in the ball, but he can defend, but he's also can get you that threat going forward and set plays, and that he's different class in the set plays. So what they've got between them all is that understanding and that consistency, and that breeds success. You know what I mean? That's the base. That's where they start it for, because they've always got somebody that which training that have done tremendously well is they've added like Mason for Talbot, and they've added divers and stuff like that who's going to get them goals. And when you've got firepower and Carlo Monti and stuff that are going to get you goals, and as long as you're keeping clean sheets, then they're always going to be up there, but they're all thereabouts and always going to have a chance of success. And I think that's what they've built their base on, and that doesn't just happen overnight. That's came from all the hard work that they've done there as a club, and I give them tremendous amount of credit for that, to be fair. Not meaning, and they deserve that because they're the champions and they've not lost a game so far, and only conceding 2 goals is different class. They probably had to ride their luck a few times in games, but hats off to them. It's a great start.
And we can hope, like, granted, I'm saying this when they've got 25 league games left. There's still so much could happen.
Yeah,
But hopefully the issue with the park and everything can get sorted, because if they do win the league, then we don't want another year a club not going up, as much as we don't want to lose our
yeah,
better sides in a sense. That's
yeah.
what the pyramid's there for, and that's what we want to see, people going up. Um,
Brilliant.
moving on to Clydebank taking 5 off of Cumnock yesterday, 5-2 win, 4-0 up at half time. They're really motoring the now. That's them 4 wins and 2 draws for the last 6 league games after losing the opening day to Benburb. Another team who defensively they're doing no too bad, but they're getting goals. And then have you seen Nicky Little's goal?
He's 2 goals.
Mate, it's ridiculous. The amount of
Two,
great
mate.
goals he scores.
I'm talking about Fordies, and Fordies is unbelievable because it's improvisation and it looks as if the chances are away not. But with Nicky Little as well, you think at the time that there's no much on, and he always finds a way. And it be fair to Nicky that he's been doing that for years, and and the biggest compliment I can give him is you're never surprised when you see him score a cracker, because he seems to be always scoring cracking goals, and he's a top player and he's a massive player for Clydebank. He's not just a captain and a leader, but he's also that guy that can chip in with big goals and big moments, and he's massive for them, and his goals were different class, to be fair.
Nah, he is. He's got a lot of quality. Um, Darvel beating the Bens 3-2. A late G Wilson goal right at the death gets them the 3 points. That's a big one. Benburb obviously be really disappointed, because we've commented on how good a start they've had, and I think that they
Yeah.
don't have enough to be in that pack to go and challenge to win the league. But they've put themselves in a position to show that they're a good enough side to be at least mid-table, top half of the table. But Darvel, another one, like I spoke about Clydebank there. If they're losing in the opening day, they've won 4 and drawn 1. Tony's starting to get them playing the way you'd probably want them to play, a bit closer to anyway, and that's another big 3 points for them.
It's a great result for them, especially being 2 down, and that shows how good that the Bens can be. Do you know what I mean? They've beat us at Talbot, and they've beat Clydebank, and they've beat Hurlford away, and then they're 2-0 up down at Darvo, and they're probably gutted that they've not at least took a point for the game because it's got so late in the game. But amazing for Darvo, it just shows you know what I mean? They keep going to the end, and G's goal at the end's been enough to win them the game, and it's a big 3 points, and already early in the stage it's a big 3 points because all the teams up near the top have all picked up maximum points, and for them to be 2-0 down and come back shows great quality. It shows a togetherness as well, and they've done superbly well, and the quality they've got there. Do you know what I mean? It's even the quality you can bring off the bench is massive. Do you know what I mean? In the league this year, I think that if you can bring players on and they can come on with the right jag in the game, and what a result for them. It's a great result for them, especially being 2 down. And the Bens are a very handy side. Dave McDonald's on fire for them now. You know what I mean? Getting another double yesterday for them, and he's a real handful up there, along with the rest of the forward going players at the Bens. But a great result for Tony, that especially coming back for 2 down.
We had St Cadoc's getting an impressive 4-0 win on Glenafton. Glenafton in a bit of a sticky situation just now, only with 2 wins out of 6, just 2 points clear of the relegation zone at the moment. St Cadoc's needed that win. They've been very hard and miss, winning 3 and losing 3. Also, Troon and Rob Roy. Rob Roy 2 down, getting it back to 2 each, getting a good point at Troon. We always speak about them. That is, for me, that's a really important point for Rob Roy that keeps them in that top 6 and in that position where they can at least keep trying to chip away and keep themselves within touching distance to the top 2 or 3.
Aye. St Cadoc's great result. Like Glenafton last week, and at points that they had good spells in the game where they popped the ball about well, and that's a really good result for them. And it's the best thing for Martin down there is that they've kept a clean sheet probably as well, and that's something to build on momentum defensively. And they scored 4 goals, so they must have really been on it on the day. So it's a great result for them. And with Rob Roy, Trunner will be disappointed. They were 2-0 up, and then they've ended up drawing the game 2 each. And I think Rob Roy scored a penalty in the last kick of the ball, the last minute of the game, but that's massive for Rob Roy because it's just shown that they've bounced back for their defeat to Darvo, and they've not let it sit on them too long, and they've played a game. And even though they've drawn the game, that'll feel massive for them, because when you're losing the game and you score in the last kick of the ball, it kind of can feel more like a victory than it can an actual draw or anything like that. So they'll be delighted with that, and especially going down to Troon as well. It's a tough place to go to, and that's a good point for Rob Roy. And Troon on the other hand will be probably a bit disappointed because the way the game's maybe panned out. But well done to Kevin and his players. They've fought right through, and they've got a couple of goals, a debut goal for the boy Anderson, and then Tierney scoring a penalty in the last kick of the ball. Superb.
Well, you've got the top 6 at the moment. You could Beith on 15 points, Pollock, Clydebank both on 14, Darvo on 13, Hurlford and Rob Roy both on 11. Varying games, some 6, some 7, some 5.
Yeah.
At the bottom, Glenafton, Talbot, Meda and Glencairn down there. So it is very tight at both ends.
Meda won in the
Merry
match down there.
That was a good one.
They were good, mate.
Were they?
Meda, they were good. They were good on the night. We didn't watch that just to get out of the house and that, and they were very good. They were very good, to be fair to them. It was a good performance because tough place to go and a wee intimidating atmosphere, especially with being at the Vic. So I think that Kevin and his team deserve tremendous credit on the night because they've went there and they've done a really professional job, and I thought they looked really comfortable and they played really well on the night.
That's a good one for them. First division, Blantyre 2, Glencairn 0, Cambuslang 2, Johnsonborough 5, Drumchapel 6, Kilburney 1, Mabel 1, Nielsen 0, Petershill 2, Colwyn 3, Renfrew 3, Ashfield 1, Shotts 0, Thornywood 0, Whitlets 0, The Rock 3. I started on our game yesterday, 6-1. Kilburney get 2 players sent off kind of late in the first half. Absolutely killed the game. It was 2-1 at that point. I think that we should have been maybe a goal or 2 further ahead than we were at that time. We were quite comfortable, in my opinion. They scored. Scott Lewis did well to get his goal. Bit slack for us defensively, I thought. But we've had, I think, Slick's missed a chance, like a great opportunity in the first 2 minutes. It should have put us ahead. Kev Fell scores an absolute worldie, and then Slick scores as he does, gets a hat-trick. That's his second hat-trick of the season, 9 and 7 he's got at 40-year-old. It's ridiculous. But the game was just a non-event second half. Kilburney really didn't have anything. Obviously, they were just trying to damage control, and we steamrolled them a bit. Could have been another couple on top of the 6. But it was just a nothing game once the 2 red cards happened, but an important 3 points for us.
It's a great 3 points because on paper beforehand, that's a really tough game. And what doesn't help Kilburney is they've went down to 9 men. Not I mean the game's hard enough being away from home, and away from home when it was at Donald.
It was at Drum, because we only seem to play at Donald.
Aye, well, it's hard enough getting away from home to the Drum, and never mind being down to nine men, especially in the first half. But at the same time, well done to the Drum, 6 goals for the team, brilliant for them. Slick, amazing. Mixed emotions for Slick because he's had a spell there at Kilburney. How was he? Was he celebrating?
He was a bit kind of reserved for his first one, and then I think by the time he got his hat-trick, he was celebrating because I think he was delighted for the hat-trick. I think that's what he was. You know, he kind of forget. But
listen, players are quite right to celebrate. You know what I mean? It's an amazing thing scoring a goal. But amazing for Slick. You know what I mean? As you say, 40 years of age and still banging the goals in, and even feel like that, wee Kev's capable of that. He's got so much ability. But it's a great result for the Drum, and I think we were saying that a couple of results went kind of in favour with teams dropping points. I think Glencairn have dropped points, and Shotts drop points.
Shotts points they drew with Thornywood as well. Because on that, the Glencairn, I've had a really good run put together. Blantyre, I think I'd mentioned it last week. Blantyre are one of the teams where when they play a better side, they up it again, and we've
Yeah.
always been complimentary Gibby in the team. That was a good win for them, and that win actually, even though they're sitting in sixth, they're only 2 points off the top. You know what I mean? That's how tight this league is. You're really looking at anybody in the top nine and with a shout of winning this league.
It's a great result for Gibbon's team because they've done what no other team's done this season, and that's beat Glencairn because that's the first defeat of the season for them. So they deserve a massive pat in the back for that. Kept a clean sheet as well when Glencairn have been scoring goals for fun, especially like last week what they done to Petershill. So for Blantyre to keep clean sheet, seen the big boy Kerr get man of the match, really good player, captain down there, really I think highly of him. But Gibby's done an amazing job down there. Do you know what I mean? He's always on earth and he's always dealing with the low side good players, especially like we Andy Galway. Boy, he's absolutely scary good, mate. And stuff like that, and players over the years, and he keeps churning them out and finding gems, and that's a great result for them. And I think that they'll be fine this season.
I think that I said I think I spoke to Hope about it maybe 2 weeks ago because we had lost a couple of games and stuff, and I was like, I genuinely believe that you can lose 8 or 9 games and win this league. It's that tight. Like I'm saying, if Ashfield and Mabel win their games in hand, there is only 2 points separating the top nine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how it is. Ather no playing MD, obviously, in that
Yeah.
top. But then you look at like Johnson Borough, obviously, there's a lot of interest around them this season. 2-1 down to Cambuslang yesterday. Then they go and get back to 2 each. A couple of people standing beside me when I was filming at a game yesterday were saying, "Oh, Jamie's in trouble. He's going to lose his job and stuff because it's not been maybe what they hoped it would be." But then you look at it 45 minutes later, they've had a very good 5-2 win, and that's how fickle it can be. But that was important for them because I think if they had lost that yesterday, they're sitting a wee bit off the pace in the same number of games as the teams above them. But they didn't lose. They've kept themselves in it.
At the end of the day, a game's no 1 in 45 minutes. That's what's crazy about supporters, man. They're already writing getting somebody sacked after 45 minutes, and then at the end of the game, they've won 5-2. It's crazy because if you think about it, in the flip side for Johnstonborough, they've won the last two.
I know.
You know
I
what I
know.
mean? They've won the last two, and what the league's kind of shown is how difficult it can be, and what they've shown is character too, because Cambuslang's not an easy place to go to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Peter, John, McKnight have got them up for it down there as well, and they've been winning the game 2-1, I think, right up into the last 15 minutes. I think it was 2-1, and what that just shows you is when the Borough are on it, they can score goals very quickly. You know what I mean? They've got that quality where they can blitz you, and unfortunate for Cambuslang, and we you said last week, by all accounts, they were good. They were decent against you last week, and then they've obviously pushed the Borough all the way, and it's probably a bit. Maybe they'll kind of feel at their side it's a bit flattering for them, but at the same time, a 5-2 win, you can't grumble with that. A place at Cambuslang, you know what I mean? It's not an easy place to go to, and the firepower that the Borough have got, they've always got a chance, especially when you introduce players late on again. Talking about the squad again, it's Hamish McKinley's come off the bench and scored and stuff like that. When you can bring players like that on, they're always going to, they're all most times anyway, they're going to have a positive effect on it.
Moving on to a team who have surpassed, I think, what a lot of people expected for them is the Rock. A really good 3-0 win away to Witless. I know Witless are having a bit of a stinker of a season so far, but that's another good win for them. Boy Thompson, I think it is, zone 7 as well this season.
Aye, boy.
But that's, see when you've got somebody that's
Can't cash me. I can't cash Jordan into.
Aye, it's a good gene. But see when you've got a striker, like I'm mentioning Slick for us, we mentioned divers quite a lot for Beith in the Premier League. See when you've got a striker who is returning a goal a game pretty much, you know that you're in with a shout of being able to produce something.
I think that they're doing really well, and there's a lot of noise in social media with them. The fans are really getting behind the new management team, and to be fair, that they're producing on the park as well, and they're giving them something to get excited about. And it's good to see doing the Candy, because I think if things are going your way and they're producing on the park, then there's no very many better supports out there, especially a travelling support. You see them with their beach boys and all that.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
Brilliant, mate. Beach boys doing it at Whitlets, and for Whitlets and all, they'll be gutted because that's the last game at Dam Park and all.
Where are they moving to?
I don't even know, mate. I honestly didn't know it was a lot. I didn't know that
I didn't know until yesterday.
that, and only seen it because on that graphic it was like our last ever game at Dam Park. I wasn't, to be honest with you, I didn't know myself, and it's a good result for them to win down there, keep a clean sheet. It's a great result, and the travelling fans were delighted, and they've had a good start to the season. I still, as I said, I still think they might have a few maybe a couple of bumps along the road, but I think that they're doing really good things doing it at the Candy, and I think the management team are doing a really good job there.
We touched on shots. I think I've just absolutely jinxed the life out of them. I said they were going to get relegated. They won 4 in the bounce. Then I said I had made an arse of it, and they've no won in any of the last 3 games. But on the flip side, Thorneywood, since they beat us, I touched on how I thought they played against us. They're undefeated, I think, and they're having a really good run. They're a solid enough team. I mean, that's a clean sheet for them. Obviously, they'll be disappointed not to score, but that's a clean sheet for them yesterday. Defensively, they stick to their job, and I think that Gorms is starting to turn it around a wee bit because he's had to build a new team there. Yeah. But that's a good win for them. But Shots, on the other hand, will be disappointed that they've given up a chance of being top of the league.
That was it. Did they beat them, Thorneywood?
No, nothing each.
A draw, wasn't it?
Aye, nothing each.
I thought you had me said that so I thought it was a draw. I don't think a point's a bad result. I just think that even though we're talking about Shots on that respect, I don't think that a draw with Thorneywood and a draw to Kilwinning Rangers, especially after Kilwinning's result yesterday, I don't think's a bad result. You know what I mean? I think that they're not losing games of football, so it's not as if they're losing games. So I think that both sides will be fairly happy with that, because Thorneywood have been in really good form and they're really doing some good work the last couple of weeks with Gorms and that. And I think for Shots to take a share of the spoils, I think they'll just dust themselves down and go again. And I think that's a decent point for them.
You touched on Kilwinning there. That's another good one for them. They're starting to turn it around a wee bit. And the funny thing is, after such a poor start, without a win, I think it was 4 games without a win, they went. You're looking at them being down in the relegation zone. I know it's obviously very early, but you're looking at them thinking, if that's how it's going to be tough to pick it up. But they are now, and they're only 6 points off a top of the league. You know what I mean? That's how ridiculous this league is.
I think a tremendous amount of credit's got to go to Tiff and that and his players, because one thing I've watched Tiff's interviews, and he's always said, listen, we'll be all right and we will climb the table, and he's always been adamant in that. So he believes in the quality in his dressing room, and to be fair, the last couple of weeks that seems to be shown. You know what I mean? They're picking up good results, and Petershill have had a really good start to the season. So to go there and get 3 points is massive. But again, what I say about Kilwinning is, if you look at the boys that scored their goals and that, look at the quality they've got there. Do you know what I mean? You've got wee Gav Miller, Matt Lamont again scoring goals, and they're good players, you know what I mean? And Kilwinning have got good players, and they're a big club. They should be up there anyway, but it's good to see, because it'll make it more exciting. Do you know what I mean? It'll make it more exciting up the top, and the battle for promotion and stuff like that as well, and battle for the title. You don't want to see anybody run away with it, and they're starting to find their feet Kilwinning, and I think a lot of credit's got to go to the manager, because he's always stuck by it and had confidence in it, and it's really good to see, because listen, one thing about myself is I want to see managers do well. Do you know what I mean? I always want to do well ourselves at my own team, but you don't want to see anybody suffer or anybody losing their job or be under pressure and stuff like that. It's just as a person, that's the way I feel about it. But good for Tiffany's team.
It's an important result. Mabel flying under the radar, 3 points off the top of the league, sitting in 8th place, but with a game in hand. That was a good 1-0 win against Nielsen. Nielsen still only got 4 points for the first 6 games. But your old team, Dak, yesterday, Ashfield, losing 3-1 at Renfrew. They would have been joint top with a game in hand if they'd won. But 5 red cards in the game, I believe.
Oh,
2 for management, 2 for Ashfield, and was it 1 for Renfrew? Was it 3 for Ashfield?
Ashfield?
Which is quite surprising because that's not the type of team Ashfield are, and it's not the type of management team that Mick's put together for.
No.
So I wonder what's happened that it's
I've spoke to people and I don't want to speak on other people's behalf, not mean. So I've spoke to people and I think that maybe a couple of the red cards have been harsh. I think Renfrew had a man sent off, Ashfield have had 3 sent off. Listen, not to take it away for Renfrew, do you know what I mean? They've won the game 3-1 and they've had a disappointing few weeks and it's a right good result for them. But for Ashfield to get a few men sent off and management team as well, it sounds like a bad day at the office, but I don't think that they'll be too happy with the officiating. And listen, that's not me saying that. I'm just maybe for what I'm hearing, they'll maybe not be happy with it, and it'll be a gutter because that could be 3 players that miss the game against the Drum.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
and 3 good players at that.
It was something that was mentioned yesterday.
I knew it would be mentioned because he's on the daft, mate, but it's 3 good players and Mick will be disappointed with that. But listen, I can't comment personally what's happened because I've not seen the decisions, but I know that there was a lot of people felt quite aggrieved at some of the decisions that were made on the day. But very well done to Renfrew first and foremost, getting the 3 points, big 3 points for them, and a welcomed 3 points for Jimmy and these boys.
Definitely. Moving on to the second division, Ardrossan 3, Bonnyton 2, Craigmark 2, Yoker 3, Cumbernauld 5, Lark Hall 2, Kilsyth 3, Glasgow Uni 1, Maryhill 1, 4-2, The Ants 4, Muirkirk 1, Vale of Clyde 3, Cali Locos 0, Wishaw 0, Perthshire 6. We'll start on the Wishaw Perthshire game. Dunny resigned after the game, so that's Wishaw without a manager.
I never seen that. Seen that.
So he's a statement came out, I think it was this morning for Wishaw. The 3 points at a possible 21, scored 10, conceded 27. Defensively, obviously, not where they'd like to be.
That's a shame because Dunny.
What a great job he did last year.
I didn't know Dunny pure well personally, but I think Dunny's a very good coach and all, and that's disappointing to see, and it's just maybe not quite worked out in that, but you just still don't want to see that, and I hope that Wishaw can get something sorted soon.
Yeah.
Great result for the Shire, scoring 6 goals.
6 goals, I know, it's what they've needed after they've had I don't know what it is with the Shire. I don't know if they are, some weeks they've got full squad, some weeks they don't.
It's always players for Shire. They've always, one week they've got a brilliant squad there, and the next week they can be missing loads of players. That's been the Shire and Billy's problem for years. It's getting the commitment and the consistency off the players. But see, when he's got the group of players that he's got there and they're there regularly, then they'll do all right. And they've obviously had a good squad there yesterday.
Top of the table, Ardrossan 3, Bonnyton 2. Bonnyton really would have been looking to have won that to keep themselves a lot closer. That's them now 8 points back for Ardrossan at the top. Ardrossan won 6 and lost 1. That's an important one for them. I think that's one of the ones that later in the season, that might be one I think that could help push us on, because that puts Bonnyton right in a difficult position, even this early on, with so many points behind. Gives themselves a wee bit of breathing room.
And I think they bounced back. They lost last week, didn't they? 4th for Ardrossan. So he bounced back right away, and it just shows that they're hoping to show that was just a bad day at the office, and that's, as you say, that's a big 3 points, because Bonnyton are named mugs, and Ross has got a decent side down there that are going to be hard to beat, and that could be a big result come the end of the season. But it's a good result for Ardrossan. But see when you see the boys that score the goals for them, Ferris, Chrissy,
I know.
Craig,
It's a lot of
Wilson,
quality.
and that.
A lot of quality.
See going forward, they've got great firepower going forward.
Definitely. But see, the thing is, defensively, they've only conceded 8 and 7, and
They've
I
been better
feel
defensively this season than what they were
than
last.
last year, and I feel that from what I've seen this season, that defensively teams haven't been quite as good as I think they should be, particularly at the level I've been watching. And
But
that pretty
maybe
much,
the flip side, teams are better now going forward than what they've
that's
better
true,
going
it's true,
forward.
but I still think that defenders should defend.
Oh, of course.
But the two clubs below Ardrossan who are keeping the pressure on, Vela Clyde and Cumbernauld, both getting wins. Vela Clyde with a good 3-0 against Cali Locals. Cumbernauld with a 5-2 win against Larkhall. Larkhall obviously no having a best of seasons. I think they've only got, 3 points at a possible 18 sitting in the relegation zone. But that's good professional performances from Vela Clyde and Cumbernauld.
I think Cumbernauld look good this year in that league. I think that they're going to push all the way. They'll certainly be at least pushing for promotion. I think. So really good result for them, scoring 5 goals, and I think the goals were spread across a few players as well. And Vela Clyde as well. Aye, really good side. John, as I say, is building a good squad. I said that last week. He's building a good squad, and they've kept an clean sheet. They've won the game. They're showing good levels of consistency. They've ticked another one off, and they'll be delighted with that. It's just they'll just know they'll be like anything else. They'll know what to get. They know how to win leagues, so they'll know what to get too ahead of themselves, and they're just happy to pick up the 3 points. But to score 3 goals and keep a clean sheet, as a manager, you're delighted with that.
It's interesting seeing the top three just now. Ardrossan, Vela Clyde, both coming for the league below and being very impressive. Cumbernauld coming for the league above and being impressive. Mary Hill actually coming for the league above as well.
Momentum's massive too, mate. See when you've got momentum, that's what I thought about a lot of teams getting up. See when you've got momentum and you can
just
you
continue.
manage, but the biggest thing for the clubs is they've managed to keep basically their squad and then add in a few. Then that's a great recipe for kicking on again the next season. Do you know what I mean? Because the boys have got that understanding and that trust in each other because they've achieved success together, and adding a couple of extra bodies just brings that wee extra edge to players because they need to keep grafting for their place in the team. But it's a good mix, and I think that they two will do well.
To finish us off in this division, the Ants 4-1 against Muirkirk. So obviously we had a couple of comments. I don't know if you'd seen them on last week's episode on the YouTube. We got a couple of comments. So the Ants have won 4 out of the last 4, but they got docked 3 points for playing an ineligible player.
Yeah.
So the Ants are sitting in 6th place just now with 10 points. Should be 13. That's it's been a very impressive start for them, and that was a good win yesterday as well. Excuse me, but I think Danny just keeps surprising us with his team. They just keep plugging away, and they're a really solid team in that second division. Again, I don't think they'll get promoted. I'm not saying they definitely won't, but I don't think they will. But they seem to just have got themselves a wee niche in that second division and become a really strong team in it.
No, and mate, I need to apologise, mate, because I think I had done getting done. And I don't even think they've had a good start, PG, because I think that they've lost their first couple of games.
I think they drew one and lost one, I think, and then won 4 in the bounce.
What I think they've had is the last couple of weeks they've been excellent, and they deserve great credit. Danny and his players deserve massive amount of credit because the results they're getting, and I tell you what, they're showing a couple of sides. They're scoring goals. They've scored quite a few goals against locals. They've scored a few. They've scored 4 yesterday, and then what they showed is against Glencairn through the week they were 2-0 down, and they've come back and they've took a point out of it. And then what that shows us is just pure togetherness and they'll be delighted with that, and I need to hold my horns up with that, and I know it's early days, but maybe I've got that one wrong, because I think that the Ants are doing really, really, really well over the last few weeks, and they're showing that they've got good quality in their squad, and really fair play to them, man. So I'm eating a big bit of humble pie, mate.
It happens though, mate. You can't get them all right, because we've been pretty. I actually think we've been pretty decent so far this
I
season.
think we've been all right, mate. But I
I
hate
think
that
so.
show anyway. I hate that show anyway, mate. So I'd
I
be glad
know,
to
but
get
it's
through
our
the
best
bang
viewed show of
anyway.
the year. People love it. They love to hate us.
Mate, people need to get into the roundup. That's what it's at.
I know, right? Hey, roundup numbers have actually been quite pleased with them this year as well. So thanks to
Oh,
everybody.
I know you're all about the
Continuing to
numbers, mate.
watch. I'm a stats and an analysis man. I'm that sad that I had asked the committee if I could get the login to see like they wear the vest now and stuff. I asked to get the
Oh,
login
no.
purely because I'm so sad and I love seeing what people do. But anyway, third division, Fanart 2, Ardrossan 2, Greenock 2, Girvan 0, Lanark 1, Coatside Athletic 0, Lesmahago 3, Glasgow United 2, Port 1, Dorai 2, Threave 0, Bellshill 1, West Park 3, Vale Leaving 3. I'd just like to start on this one and have a go at Lesmahago for disappointing me. It was only 5 goals scored in the game yesterday, and for a team like Lesmahago, that's probably about half the amount you usually get. So I'm disappointed that it was only a 5 goal thriller yesterday, no a 9 or 10 goal thriller.
I'm running out of things to say about them. Do you know what I mean?
I'm loving it, man.
I
They're
did
having a
see it.
really, they're having a really solid season as well.
Mate, they're having a good season. They're having a good season, because seeing you're coming out on these ding dongs and you're coming out in top most of the time, then I'm saying you're winning games. Did they win? They won, didn't they?
3-2, 3-2. And Glasgow United, after losing the first game, had won 4 in the bounce. They were putting a really
That's a
good run
very good
together.
result, mate. It's a very good result for them. And I tell you what, they're probably in there going, the gaffer's probably going in saying, listen, lads, I'm not expecting you to keep a clean sheet, but just go out and do your stuff going forward, and we'll just need to out blitz teams, and 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 see, being honest with you, see, if I'm a Gout fan, it's entertaining stuff. You know what I mean? You know, you're not always going to be sound defensively, but what you know you're going to get is attacking football, and you're going to see your team scoring goals, and that sounds another cracking game, and it's a great result, because we were singing Glasgow United's praises last week about how well they'd started. So for them to win the game 3-2 is different class, and they've had a very sound start to the season.
Unless my math's poor, right, which is a good chance it is. Lesmahago average 4.2 goals a game.
They've
And
got to be the highest scorers in all 4 leagues, surely.
well, they average 4.2 a game and average to lose 3.2. I'm actually going to check. They've got 26 goals in 6 games. I think that Ardrossan have got 26 in 7 games. Sorry, so either the highest goal scorers and the setup at this stage. Bellshill, another really good one. Threave are having a bit of a mixed bag. I'd imagine they will be quite disappointed with how their season's gone. Only 1-2, drawing 2, losing 2, so quite mixed. Bellshill beating them 1-0 yesterday. 5 wins out of 6. That's a really good win for them. And I touched on it last week as well. They've had quite a transitional period in the last year. And I think that they've had a great start to the season.
Great start, mate. They're sitting top of the league. You can't ask for any better than that. So Bellshill deserve an enormous amount of credit. The work they're doing off the park and on the park is brilliant, and they're sitting top of the league. They've won 5 games out of 6 and lost one or drawn
Yep,
one.
lost one.
Lost one. So very, very good return. Sitting in a really good spot, sitting top of the league. Confidence will be high. The group will be buzzing. The management will be keeping at them, they're trying to keep their feet in the ground, and it's a very, very positive start for Bellshill, and it's good to see, because they've had they've had stuff happening in the last couple of years. It's kind of been up and down a wee bit, so it's good to see them getting a wee bit of consistency on the part, and the best thing for them is there doesn't seem to be a lot of noise coming out of them off the part. So really good to see, good club, and well done to Bellshill.
The other team in the promotion spot at the moment, Dorai, beating my beloved Port Glasgow 2-1. Dorai, you predicted them at the start of the season to be up there. I think this is probably, I predicted them last season to have a good year and I thought it disappointed. This is more what we expected for them last year and this year. It's looking a lot more solid. On the other side, for me, the Port winning their first game, I think it was 7-0 against Kello or something impressive like that. Since then, they've picked up 1 point. And it's funny because they've got a lot of experience, a lot of quality. I know Mark Miller's no been playing because of suspension from last season. And I think when he comes in, which could be in the next week or two, that will make a difference because he'll be one of the best players in that league. But it's no been good enough for the Port. And it pains me to say that because I love the club and I think Stevie and Davey are great guys. But they're really going to have to start improving because they could start slipping away for the pack in front of them.
Need to be more hot in the name anyway, because I know what they're like. I know them, and I know Stevie and Davey. I know that they'll be hot like anything, and there'll be no more people and that ain't even else in that. There'll be no more people determined to go and put that right. But it's disappointing for them, and it's maybe not quite the start that they were after, but they've got a lot of good players there, and I'm very confident. I think for the outside anyway that they will start putting a run together. But they really need to start doing it soon, and I think they will anyway. Because even when you done that show, I think the
Really
camaraderie
good,
was
aye.
great. Not I mean amongst the boys, and that just shows you. You know what I mean? Hopefully they can pull together. But on that and Dalrai, great result for Chris and his team, and I think Chris has added great in the summer, the ones that I've seen him signing anyway, and that was a reason why that I've tipped him to be up there and thereabouts, because I think this is the year that Chris has been able to add the quality he was really looking for, where he's kind of found it difficult to get the players in there the last couple of years, and this year he's managed to get a couple of bumpers in for him, and couple of top players in that league especially, and I think that they'll definitely be in that promotion push.
I think you could be right. To finish us off in this division, good win for Gary Fleming, 2-0 for Greenock against Girvan. And I think
Wasn't for Gary, by the way,
aye,
because it's not been all plain sailing for him, but for one guy I want to see do well is Gary's an ex-teammate of mine, and a really, really great guy, and I know that he's definitely the right guy for the job down there. So for him to get a result just personally for me was pleasing yesterday.
Vale Even drawn with West Park. Really good result for West Park. Vale Even punching well above where I thought they would at the start of the season. They're tied in points with Dorian Lesmahigo ahead of them. There's only a couple of goals in it. They're giving themselves a good opportunity. I don't think they'll have the legs to last at that end of the table, but they're in a
Yeah,
position. Uh-huh.
I bumped into a boy from Vale leaving the day, mate.
Who was that?
I took a wee walk, it was out with each other in the way, and we took a wee walk, we ended up going to the golf fit up at Huggy, and the guy walked by me and he's like, I like your stuff, mate. And I started looking at my clothes. I started goes, all right, cheers, mate. And he's like, no, I like your podcast, mate. And I goes, all right, oh, sorry, mate. And then Graham Favela leaving. He's on
Right.
the committee there. And he was part of the under-20s and stuff like that, and he's involved with Villa leaving. And I says, oh, he's drawn yesterday with West Part and that, and I said, you've had a great start. And he says, no, we've had a good start, and we're really happy with it. And I was just saying, how did the game go yesterday? And he goes, to be honest with you, we weren't at our best, and we were disappointed with how we played, but taking the credit away for West Part, they've got some really good players there, and they definitely deserved their points. So no, it was good to meet him. Nah, he
That was
didn't.
good. I thought I was.
He was working in the pizza place up there. He didn't even give me a discount on the pizza, man. It was disgusting.
I,
He's like, what you up to today? And I said, no, I'm doing that round up tonight. And he's like, oh, you got to give me a shout out. So this is his shout out.
I thought you were going to say that it was slaughtering me because actually One
Oh,
of
listen,
the
if I was to tell you everybody that slaughters
I
you,
know you
mate, then I wouldn't
everybody.
ever be off the phone to you.
But I bumped into one of my former players at Bridgewater and St Peter's, Ross Gemmell. He stays near me and bumped into him at Morrison's and he's like, "What about you having us to go down?" And I was like, I don't really think it's that unreasonable to think that he's might. But aye, so he's an absolute plummy about it, to be fair. But that's been a good point for them again, and they are
Aye.
doing well. And long may it continue for them because it is a decent club. And despite me saying they were going to get relegated, I always like going down there. A big, massive part for me to run on.
I did say that to him. I said I like getting down there, but listen, Vale, even if they've not been at their best and getting a point is excellent, and they were Graham was very complimentary of West Park, and it's a good point for Mick and that as well because they've beat Ardrossan, they've picked a point up against Vale, even so they're showing that they've got more than enough to compete in that division.
Yep. Fourth division, Eglinton 0, St Peter's 4, Knightswood 3, Giffnock 1, Newmains 0, Lugar 3, Royal Albert 1, East Kilbride 3, Saltcoats 0, Carluke 2, Thorn 4, Campbelltown 1, Easterhouse 3, Glenvale 4. We'll start with the mighty San Pedro's. Another impressive win. We've spoken about Eglinton going to be improving this year. Granted, in the league table, I'd say they're not doing as well as I think they should be doing with the quality that they've brought in this season. They're sitting with 6 points out of 6 games, which I think isn't good enough for what they have at this time. But St Peter's, 6 wins, 1 draw, only conceded 5 in their 7 games as well, scored 26, so they're joint top goal scorers in the setup as well.
Must be doing to be Kyle
Not,
Deere at centre half.
aye, cracking player.
Aye, he works with my brother now, and
Is that right?
he's gave Anton it a wee bit. Your brother, I think that we're not going to be in the mix and that. So he came for me, so I'll give him a wee shout out this week because he's working with my brother now.
Well, see, to be fair, I'm actually now looking at the league table. We thought 26 was top scorers. Glenvale have got 29 goals in 6 games.
Aye.
And East Kilbride have got 27 and 7. So it's not even top. But St Peter's, that's another really important one for them. I think that JD, Neil and Gav are doing a right good job there. We're a very young side. I've touched on it plenty of times, a very young side. And the local rivals, Glenvale, another win for them. 8 goals scored yesterday against the Easterhouse, who Easterhouse having a pretty poor start. But the two Paisley teams are keeping themselves right on it. And it's nice to see the two of them doing well, to be honest, for them.
Aye, I think first and foremost for St Peter, so wee Kyle's not just getting a game because he's dad in, no.
No, he's worth a game. He's a good player.
No, listen, they kept a clean sheet, so he must not be too bad. But no, on that, I think Eglinton done is they've had a couple of wins right for the get go, and things look really good, and they found it difficult after the first few games, but they've obviously got quality there. We know a few players that's in there now with Muri and stuff like that, but hopefully they can bounce back. But it's a great 3 points for St Peter's, and they've started tremendously well. On Glenvale are another firepower, unbelievable, great result for them, and that'll be a really good game when it comes around. See that St Peter's Glenvale.
I really hope it's a Friday night and we can make it
Because that'll be a right good one, and I tell you what, see the amount of good young players that'll be in show. I think if they put that on a Friday night, you would be interesting to see how many managers for the higher leagues came to watch that, just to see what was kind of on show and all, because that's two teams that are going really, really well, scoring goals for fun, keeping clean sheets, loads of young players out showcasing their talent, mate. Great to see.
Yep. Top 5 all picked up maximum points yesterday. Lugard getting a good 3-0 win against Newmains. East Kilbride getting a 3-1 win against Royal Albert, and our boy Adam Edgar getting another goal. It's great to see. And the Thorn continuing for where they were starting the season with their old management team. Another win yesterday, 4-1 against Campbelltown. The three of them keeping pressure on the two above them.
Great result for the teams, and they're the teams that we're all expecting to be up amongst the mix, and great to see. I tell you what, Adam Edgar better stop it because he's getting shout outs every week on this show.
Every week.
Stop it, Adam. Fed
He
up
was
seeing the graphic.
as I messaged me, and he was saying that because every time he scores on Twitter, I just do the Edgar with the capital letters and like
Aye.
exclamation marks, which I'm going to continue to do, even though it's annoying myself.
You should have
But
sponsored Ford, mate.
I know. But look, we're all about the teams loading as well. Like your Port Glasgow's with Archie. I don't know if he actually
What's happening with
scored that game.
Archie?
I know what is happening, Archie. You're embarrassing yourself. At least we've got Adam Edgar. Um, and as I was saying that he was like he wasn't liking the fact that we kept doing it, but I don't believe that. I think he'd be liking
Oh, mate.
he'd be
I
loving
guarantee you Adam's all modest when he's sitting in the dressing room, not, and everybody's going, look, you getting sponsored that Fat Daft podcast, man, with they two nuggets. But then see when he's in the boozle and he's mad for it, and he's talking to birds and that, he'll be like, like this. I'm viral. I'm a big deal.
Back on to football and matters. Knightswood 3-1 against Giffnock. Really impressed with Knightswood start.
Aye, by the way,
Really impressed. 10 points out of
they,
6.
their captain's 17 years of age,
I know
mate.
that's really impressive, and it's like you say,
Unbelievable, mate. And that
you've, tou-
speaks volumes for his character
Mhm.
and the ability he's got.
you've touched on it as well with St Peters and Glenvale, where if they play on a Friday night and you've maybe got a lot of higher up managers come down to watch. Every week I feel like we're saying the same stuff. We champion this league so much, but Knightswood, team for young boys like that who clearly have got a bit about them. You're going to have teams coming down and watching these players where they might have been missed for an extra couple of years, but now they're not getting missed because everybody's wanting a good young player, and there's a lot of
It's
quality in this league.
it's not even missed because sometimes it's the word of mouth when you're signing players like players at this level and older players, whereas your younger boys at 17, 18, 19, 20, they've not played at the level, so
Mm,
nobody really knows. So all you need to do is just be made aware of them, and then that's you know what I mean?
that's it.
Sorted.
Carluke getting a 2-0 win against
Obviously, the
Saltcoats.
best ones come to Pollock, mate.
Well, that's it, mate. That's it. There's definitely ones worth looking at. Carluke getting a 2-0 win against Saltcoats. Saltcoats still only, well, they've lost 6 out of 6, only scored 5 goals. Carluke
They're
needed that.
competitive, that sounds like PG, not me.
Aye, exactly. And Carluke are sitting mid-table as well.
Good for
So,
Paul, because he had a couple of disappointing results of late.
aye, so it's an important 3 points for them. But that's us for another week. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, like the episode, subscribe to the channel, makes a big difference. And remember, just share this with your friends, get people watching PG and DAC and talking about the West of Scotland Football League because it is the best level in the country.
Sports scene ain't got shit on this, mate.
Correct, mate. You're right. Everybody, have a good week. Thanks for
We
watching.
don't read daft auto cues.
Hmm?
We don't
Oh, we don't need
daft
them.
auto cues.
Don't need Mace, it's in there. It's in there. I normally write it in.
Yours
Didn't
is
write
on
it
a
in.
pad of paper, mate, because you're the stat man.
That's it. But look, we don't all have your knowledge of players and stuff. I feel like I don't know who half the people you're talking about. And I say, him, he's good.
Listen, just take listen, nobody can question my passion or our passion for the level, mate. We love to cover it and we love to speak about it, mate, and that's what we love to do.
Correct. Everybody, have a lovely week. See you
Take care,
later.
have a good week, troops.